the ESPN Louisville app. Well, I'm pumped to bring our next guest on because he knows me from my Kroger days, and I always talk to Nikki V around this when I'm saying back in my day when people walked 8 miles at the school in the snow and everything, and people people roll their eyes at this. I tell Nick all the time, I was like, best shape of my life was when I was pushing in carts at Kroger. Like, we would gamble for recreational purposes only about who could push in the most. And I mean, look at me. I'm probably the middle of the pack. I got bronze medals in those. I never got gold but my calves looked like somebody cut them open and put rocks in there. Now I see everyone just pushing with these automated cart machines. But Corey Price, worked with him at Kroger. Great job. I'm happy to see his success as he's blown up on Twitter. Corey, welcome into the V Show on Fast Break Friday, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing good, Phil. It's been a long time, and those days at Kroger were something else for sure.
Yes, the union dues. Thank you very much, because I probably should have been let go multiple times for watching the Elite Eight game of Louisville and West Virginia on the pharmacy TV screen in there when they were threatening me I need to get out on the carts. Well, Corey, you're in with Steve Rummett, you're in with Nick Valvano, you're in with yours truly. Tell me how you got into this. You kind of just started out as like a Twitter guy tweeting out crazy stats, but then it got you a job within JMI. Tell us how you came to be a part of the UK Sports Network.
Well, I guess it really started in March of 2009 when I started, when I joined Twitter, and pretty much from day one I was, tweeting stats and whatnot. And then in September of 2014, Susan Lax, who works with UK, she saw a bunch of stats I was posting after football's first game of that season, and she asked me if I would help them out with what they were doing, and I, of course, said yes. So I started working with them up in the press box in 2015. And then last year, the guy who was helping doing stats with Tom Leach for his broadcasts, he decided to step down and retire and be a fan. So Brett Tucker, who is the producer for Tom's shows on the radio, he reached out to me and asked if I would take that guy's spot. And once again, I quickly said yes. So starting this past season, I started working with Tom and Jeff Picoro on their broadcasts, and it's still I've done a year now. It's still crazy to think that I'm working with Tom Leach, because I was 12 in 1997 when he started calling games for UK, and I never would have thought at age 12 I'd be sitting next to Tom, so it's still crazy. Yeah,
no, it's good stuff, and I know this show used to have Mike Pratt on here, so I know how much Mike Pratt thought of Tom Leach and everything, and then we went to his memorial service, a good portion of the staff here, and Tom had great things to say about him, and I told you, I said, I'll reach out to Louie and Issel, and I'm going to try to get you on with the king of Kentucky basketball after this, but you got to go through the gatekeeper, me, because we worked in the trenches at Kroger, so there's that. So Corey Price, give him a follow on Twitter, Corey P08. That's Corey with an E if you want to see just some crazy stats. I always equate you to like Team America with intelligence, and you just have some crazy like UK stats that come up there. But just what have you made of this season thus far with Kentucky? It was, a month ago, it was fire John Calipari, but you're returning the National Player of the Year. But just so far, what has kind of been the tone of this season in your eyes for Kentucky basketball?
Well, it was definitely a rough start, and I know historically Cal's been pretty loyal to his point guards, and I'm sure it was a very tough call for him to bench Wheeler, but the numbers show in the last 4 games, although it's tough, it's working, and Wheeler's been great come off the bench, so it's not like it's been that bad, but I think Wallace is showing what he can do when he's got the reins of the team for the vast majority of the game. And I think when we got that lineup with Wallace and CJ and Reeves and Toppin and Oscar, it spreads the floor, and so there's less double teams on Oscar. And teams have to make a choice: are they going to double Oscar and leave the shooters open, or are they going to key on the shooters and let Oscar eat? So it's tough for teams now deciding how to play us on defense for sure.
Corey Price joining us. Corey, there's so many questions I want to ask about a young Phil Baker and just all a coming of age Phil and sexual exploits and everything like that. But we can ask those off the air. But staying with UK, it seems like their recent uptick has been spurred by Antonio Reeves. How big of an impact is he going to have going forward in this season?
He's been that spark off the bench during their current 4-game win streak. He's averaging 17 points off the bench, which is pretty good coming off the bench. The shooting, unlike like CJ, the shooting hasn't been where it should be, but he's still making clutch shots, and he's got this running floater that's working for him a lot. I think I'm hoping he and CJ can start to make more and more of those shots, and if they do, this team is dangerous.
Corey Price here with the UK Sports Network. Give him a follow on Twitter, Corey P. On Twitter, 08 on Twitter if you want to be interact with him on that front. Kentucky.
What's the 08 stand for, by the way?
Is that when you graduated college, right?
Yes.
Okay,
correct.
That's yeah.
Nice pull.
I knew he was a little bit older than me.
Well
but
done, man.
Yeah, he did the 4-year route.
Your profile pic, you don't look a day past 22.
Yeah,
so good for you. You must exfoliate.
I try to at times, yeah.
Yes. God, you're Kevin wanted the save of Nick Valvano, just jumping right into the deep end with it. I love it. So Kansas, look, historically, Bill Self, how has he done coming off back-to-back losses historically? He's never lost 4 straight. So what's the matchup or the key you're looking for in this game? Obviously, Kansas, the defending national champions, the battle of the Blue Bloods. What's a storyline in a matchup that you are looking forward to in this game come tomorrow night?
I'll sit on their current losing streak and our current win streak. It's been our offense and their defense. We're averaging 1.11 points per possession, and Kansas is giving up 1.13 points. So it's been their downfall. I think the glass has been key. The last 4 games, UK has an average margin for rebounds of plus 13.3, which is crazy, and I think Kansas is at -2. So I think if Kentucky can control the glass, and that's a big key. And I think early in the season, UK had a problem with this, but Kansas lately has not had. They just haven't been able to get any leads in this losing streak. The other teams have gotten on early and kept that lead. Kansas has only had the lead for 6 minutes and 7 seconds combined the last 3 games. I know UK has done a better job of that this current win streak, but I know they struggled early on the season to get a quick lead and keep with it with the home crowd, and with this new lineup that they've been playing recently. I hope they can get a lead early and stay on it, and if they can get the boards and clean up the glass, I think Cats will come out with a win.
Corey Price joining us on Fast Break Friday, presented by Elliott One, Kentucky's original ginger soft drink since 1926. Joining myself, Phil Baker, and Steve Rummage. Corey, we had Paul Biancardi on earlier this week locally here, and the ESPN National Recruiting Director was high on the #1 ranked recruiting class of UK this upcoming season, and he made note of the competitiveness within the class, specifically DJ Wagner and Robert Dillingham. Threw in a little Reed Shepard there, saying that he was feisty. I always love adjectives like that. But what are you hearing about this recruiting class and another #1 recruiting class for Coach Cal? Is this going to do anything to silence the haters that he's lost his touch in the recruiting game?
I hope so, but Cal said a lot of times over the years, or not Cal, but fans, that are try to defend Cal. They always say, next year's class is awesome. Next year's class is awesome, but honestly, next year's class is awesome. 4 of them were named to the McDonald's game. Reed's on the West squad. It doesn't really make a lot of sense map-wise, but it's the first time UK's had 4 guys make the roster since 2017, so it's been a while, but it's the 6th time under Cal that they've had at least 4 named to that game, and it's usually a pretty good key to success for the following season. previous 5 times it happened, UK got to at least the Elite Eight of the tournament 4 of those 5 times in the following season when those players were freshmen. So, hoping that trend stays the same.
Talking with Corey, last one for me. I mean, tomorrow when Kansas comes in, I mean, how much of a factor do you think? I mean, just the crowd will play because I mean, we know there's nothing like Rupp Arena when it's rocking. I mean, just incredible fans, incredible.
And that's coming from a U of L guy.
Incredible place. Yeah, it's just amazing. No, but when you have Kansas coming in 2-game lose streak here, obviously they need a win. I mean, do you think just tomorrow? I mean, how do you see kind of them reacting to that game on a Saturday night? Prime time.
Well, I mean, Kansas being Kansas, I mean, they're not a stranger to big games and big venues, big environments, just like us. Yeah. In conference play, when they play on the road, they get the loudest fans, craziest fans, because they obviously want to see them get beat. It'll be the same for us. I think College Game Day, might be doing some stories from there. Like I said, it's at night on Saturday. I know.
Yeah, I believe so. I got a press release. I think they did the women's last night. So, yeah, the Battle of the Blue Bloods will, yes, in fact, have College Game Day there.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it would be an awesome environment. Obviously, we're playing a great team. So fans would be – unfortunately, a lot of times some fans in the lower level kind of sit quietly sometimes, I hope, throughout the game and during key moments they can stand up and cheer. I know for a fact the students will be crazy. I know it's a big day for football. I know they've got a bunch of guys coming in to watch the game, so I know the students will know that and cheer loud, and hopefully it'll bring them on to a win.
Yeah.
Corey Price, give him a follow on Twitter, Corey P08. He has great little Jim's photos. He has a Scotty Davenport yearbook photo wishing him a happy birthday. He has a Rick Pitino coming out on a motorcycle.
Nice.
Not Bobby Petrino, Rick Pitino coming out on a motorcycle in 1994, where he looks like Kevin Bacon in that movie where he's invisible. Is that Invisible Man?
Hollow Man.
Yeah. Hollow Man, that's what it was.
Hollow
Good
Man.
pull by you, Nick. Yeah, good pull by you. I got a question for you, Corey, because this is one of my favorite things about you. You tag John Calipari in some of your negative tweets, like statistically, like they're numbers, so they're not necessarily like you're lying about it, but I love that you tag them. I know Cal doesn't check Twitter, so it's probably the gatekeeper, TJ Beisner, that season. But have you got any backlash for any of those things? For stats that are out there? Okay, I was just making sure. I was going to say there's a couple times where I'm like, that is historically bad, and you're tagging at John Calipari on there. I love it.
Well, I try to be as, there's good and bad in everything in life. And then, there's obviously first 6 seasons were about as good as I can get. And then the last 6 or so, there's been some rough times, and, you got to take the good with the bad. And at the end of the day, stats are stats, so
numbers do not, in fact, lie. Yes, I appreciate that. Last one for me, Corey Price, joining here on Fast Break Friday here on ESPN 680, 105.7, ESPN 1300 in Lexington. Oscar Tshiebwe, just for historical context, what is he doing compared to some of his other counterparts? Obviously, we have a show with Dan Issel here, and it's always a joking matter of how somebody's going to surpass him in some of these things. But some of the craziest stats you found thus far during Oscar Tshiebwe's career.
Well, he won't pass Dan because Oscar's probably, I would assume, only played two seasons here. But I know he's last season was the first time a player from a Power 5 team averaged 15 and 15 since Bill Walton, I think, in 73, I believe. So it's been a while. Wow. He's only been out rebounded by an opposing player once, and I think he's played in almost 50 games, I think, at UK. So he's during this win streak, he's getting back to the numbers he had last year when he won National Player of the Year. He's averaging almost 19 and 17 during this win streak. And like I said, with this new lineup, teams are going to have to pick their poison. Do you guard the shooters and leave Oscar open? Do you guard Oscar and leave the shooters open? It's a tough call for him.
Corey Price joining us on Fast Break Friday. Give him a follow at Corey. I had it, Corey P08, I believe. Yeah, there we go. I always get the number wrong. Sorry. Give him a follow. Before we get you out of here, Corey, we appreciate the time. Can you give a Phil Baker story? Is there something you can share that's radio friendly?
How many times was I almost written up for not pushing in carts when it was pouring down rain? That's where I put we'll call her Deb. He knows my feud with Deb. There was a Deb there. I'll tell you a story. And there was
Deb
many
a precursor to a Karen or like
pretty
Karen
much
or something.
But look, I told you the Elite 8 game, Louisville, West Virginia. She told me I was going to get written up if I didn't go out on the lot and push. I was like, I'm not going outside. Because this game was going on, and it was during the Pit Snoggle game, and I just stood at the pharmacy little box TV on 12 inches. Save that for the mixtape, and I just sat there and watched the entire thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, the stories I have aren't safe for radio.
Well, we'll do it for the podcast and the tell-all book. So there you go. Corey, appreciate it, buddy. You got past the gatekeeper. You can go on with Issel and Louie now. So I'll make sure you go on with them. I'll give them your information. And
we just need courtside tickets now.
Yes, courtside. Yeah. And be sure to give our regards to Tom Leach. Hopefully see. I think some of the staff's going down to the UK game where they're honoring Mike Pratt. Oh, that's a good follow-up one. Did you have any overlap with Mike Pratt when you were with the UK Sports Network?
Good question.
Not with UK, but this involves Kroger. He did a show at the Kroger that we once worked at
with your dad. Yeah, it was Fast Break Friday. Yeah, so that you're
Randy
right about
Witt
that
production.
Yes,
baby. I remember those.
Okay, so
shout out Randy Witt.
I think it was 2014, I believe it was, and our store was selling a book about the Colonels. So during my break, I bought the book, and I went over to Mike, and he signed a picture of himself in that book, and that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, Pratt was the best, man, and happy to see his jersey getting retired down there. So we'll have some fun up there to go up in the Raptors. Corey, appreciate it, buddy. I'll be in touch soon. I'll give you Issel your information, and then you two can geek it out that way. Appreciate it, man. Continued success.
Thanks, Phil.
All right,
appreciate it.
There you go. Corey Price. Good stuff there. So there you go. That was a good question by you. Yeah, I was going to say, okay, back to Global Talk. Look, it's a 2-win team. I don't know what else to say about it. Text line, calm down. We'll get back to it. This is for our friends in Lexington for just one little.
And we got a ton of them.
Yeah, so
a ton of friends in Lexington.
Yes. I'm doing the show with the wrong guy that says that. Okay, so sorry. I just saw somebody wanted me to ask Corey Price a question. I was nervous. I don't know if you heard Drew get got this morning with the brag line. So got to definitely go through some of these.
Drew's on there and he's like, it's so funny. He's like, I just want to give a shout out to my son Ben Dover. And
no, he got. I missed this.
I'm pretty sure he hesitated a little bit. I'll just say it was in worldwide territory.
Oh no.
Blank was a good wingman there. I'll just say that.
Oh my God, no.
Yeah, but Drew, he said he can never tell. He's like the hyphen scares him, but Drew did a good job of navigating
the worldwide thing is a nightmare scenario, and like it could have happened to any one of us.
I did not help that situation. I fell over in my chair laughing hysterically, and you just hear me gasp. I mean, you hear the thud of me hitting the floor because I was in awe that he actually said it, and then
that audio might be scrubbed from the ethos. Yeah,
your boy has a folder inside of a folder inside of a folder that probably has it somewhere, but I forgot what I labeled it as. So tell all books
somewhere.
It's like that box in like Indiana Jones, just somewhere, in the hall of boxes.
Yes, it's there somewhere. So that'll be in my tell all book when I leave here. Whenever that may be. So
that was a really good interview, man. I'd like to do more of those.
Yes, he's going on with Issel now. Calm down, BBN. We'll go on. I know we're not the guys for that, but that's one of those things where he's seen me in my element in sub-zero temperatures pushing in carts. He had to come on with me first.
I just couldn't help it. I was like, I don't know. He seemed so nice. I was
Do you want me to get him for middays?
I was like, see if he can come on.
I want him and Kelly Dickey to have a trivia off. That's what I want to happen right there. So do it for Kentucky at a Friends of V.
There's nothing like sitting amongst 24,000 Kentucky fans. It's the greatest thing ever.
You know what's funny too? I was thinking about this when they were talking about like the Corey Price, because we get Nick. You have this happen too, Stephen. Before we get to the top of the hour, Corey Price and guys that have kind of dabbled. They've wanted to get into this industry. And they want to get their foot in the door. Everybody does, it's tough to get your foot in the door. You did it on weekends for a bit. I still do weekend shows. You were willing to do anything. You did Reds games while juggling other jobs. This is a guy that's just putting content out on Twitter.
Yeah.
And then he started getting retweeted by, and I know
awesome,
Tom Leach uses his stats on the broadcast and everything. That's what you got to do, guys. Half the battle's just showing up and being consistent with it.
Hey, man, I tell the horror stories. I'm like, when people are like, man, Steve, you do radio. I'm like, yeah, I did radio for free.
And you paid for it also.
Yeah. For a while. while I paid, and then did radio for free with Middays with Marcus Maven for about 3 years. So
this ain't a job to get rich.
Yeah, it's a passion project. Steve said something to me off air, and I'm gonna sing his praises because he's in here with me. But he was just like, man, he's like, sometimes we got to remind ourselves, like we get to come in here and talk sports.
Right,
so
it's fun. It's
fun,
absolutely.
Man.
It's not even a job half the time.
It's fun.
Yeah. So no, but that's the good stuff for Corey. That was a guy that was just, he had like a math degree from UK, and then he was like helping out with like Kentucky stuff just on the side, but also like working at Kroger with yours truly in the 2006-ish.
Do you have a story about him?
No, he was very even keeled. He managed. No, he managed. He managed money. He was very good. He was level headed. We'd have some battles about Louisville and Kentucky, and then this was in the heyday of like the Billy Gillespie times. And I was like, he ain't the guy. He's not the guy. And we was like, well, he'll figure it out. And he would just say AC law and all this stuff, and I would just battle him nonstop and say, no, T will. At the time, people made fun of him, called him T won't, but I said T will. Got the upper hand on that. And then Edgar Sosa let us down against Texas A&M. So there you go. Yeah, but
he scored 31. I don't know if he let us down.
Yeah, well, AC will all decide to, that I have a soft spot for him. So, all right, on the other side of the break, Jeff Green.